Boxing Bear Brewing Company is a full-scale brewing company. We make beer and cider here on the west side of Albuquerque, and then we have locations on the east side as well as in west downtown. My partners are Kevin Davis, Justin Hamilton, and Jay Carnegie. I started out as a hobby home brewer. My wife actually bought me a homebrew supply kit as a birthday present in about 2001. And so I was brewing in my kitchen for several years, just enjoying doing that, and met my partner Kevin Davis during that time. We were coaching JV baseball together at Albuquerque Academy. And we coached together for about 5 years, became friends, and I sort of taught him how to homebrew and convinced him that it was a fun hobby. Eventually, he realized as an entrepreneurial sort of guy that Albuquerque could use a homebrew supply shop. And so in 2010, Kevin opened up a homebrew supply shop, Southwest Grape and Grain. And in doing so, he started to meet a lot of the local professional brewers. And the two of us would brew together and talk, and just sort of got this idea that maybe we should open up a brewery. But it took us until 2014 till we opened. And a big part of the delay there was we had to find a commercial brewer. Both of us were great home brewers, and we won many local awards, like at the state fair, local home brewing competitions. But brewing a 5-gallon or a 10-gallon batch in our kitchen or garage, very, very different than brewing 310 gallons at a time. So that's where Justin Hamilton came in. Justin was at the time the head brewer at Chama River Brewing Company. We knew he made great beer, and so it took a while for us to convince him to come join us at Boxing Bear, but that's how sort of we got started. So the actual brewing process is really both biology and chemistry. I'm both a biology and at times chemistry teacher at Academy. And my love of home brewing and my excitement for that sort of hobby largely came because I was a biologist by trade. So to make beer, you need 4 ingredients. You need malted barley. Barley is sort of like wheat, it's a relative of wheat. So you need barley and hops. Hops are a plant where we use the cones, and the cone acts both as a preservative in the beer, as well as it actually has a little bit of bitterness that balances the sweetness from the barley, the sugars in the barley. You need water and you need yeast, and that's really it. Those are the 4 ingredients that go in beer. So the process is to take the barley that has been malted, and that's done before we purchase it. The malting process actually involves germination of the seed. Barley is a seed, and it's allowed to germinate, and then that process is stopped. But in doing so, that starts to activate the enzymes that are going to be necessary to break down starch in the brewing facility. So this mill, we put the grain in here, it cracks the husk of the grain, and then there's an auger that takes the grain all the way up there. And so then we mix water, warm water, and the barley, and it's called a mash. And mashing is basically mixing the barley, warm water, at the right temperature to allow those enzymes to be active. So the active enzymes break down starch and convert those starches to simple sugars that later will be fermented by our yeast. So this is our wall of fermenters. These 2 tanks first are just hot and cold water for the brewing process, but then all the tanks on this side are fermenters, and then from here on down, those are all fermenters. And the beer stays in there for somewhere between 2 and 4 weeks, depending on the style. And then there's some resting that happens to allow the flavors to settle before it's ready to be served. It's a traveling trophy, so we've had this trophy 3 of the last 4 years, and whoever wins this year will go to them. Working at Boxing Bear is really very, very different than what I do at Academy, and that's a good thing. I help out with some of the things that aren't really day-to-day. I order merchandise, attend weekly meetings with my partners and the brewery staff often, and help to sort of come up with some of the long-term goals for the organization. So it's just enjoying being a part of the operation, since I can't oversee things day-to-day.